And welcome, welcome, welcome. And as you know, we all this mastermind, the secret is interactive. And what my title is for today is how to apply the law of attraction to find new clients, and especially in this trying time. I found out, in the last 2 years, what did I do differently to make business work, and how do I find those clients? And I've realized in a way that you can find clients by applying the law of attraction and make money while you sleep. So those are things that we have to look at. And sometimes when it comes to the law of attraction of finding clients, is we don't know how to apply, I'll call it the Lord approach. And what is the Lord approach? The Lord approach is the L stands for location, the O stands for occupation, the R stands for recreation, and the D stands for dream. But it goes deeper than that. It's all got to do with how do we leverage our business? We're all in different business opportunities. Now, to give you an idea, Dennis, and I'm going to work with you as an example in the law of attraction of getting clients. You're not going to work with a person that is in construction. You're going to look either for a musician, or you're going to look for another poet, or find that musician that you want to work with to get your material out to create that song that you can leverage from him by selling your poetry to convert that into a song. He makes some money to get the lyrics while you sleep and earning an income. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
So those are the thing is, how do we do that, and how can we monetize on that? I'm going to take Bill who's in investments and medical aid. He's going to look at all different types of clients. So I'm going to work with Bill as an example now, and I'm going to bring in Dennis as an example to say, hey, Dennis, what happens if you lose your writing hand in an accident? Are you covered for that? So Bill can now leverage from your talent at the same time by finding out what your occupation is and leveraging from that to make business work. Does that make sense, Bill?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So this is how you can start applying the law of attraction by looking at the requirements, what you need in business. And the beauty part is we're all chasing opportunities. We're chasing this lead to get this person in that project and into this product. But at the end of the day, we're chasing our tail. So that's why you'll see my email address is micromanage. And where I got this email address from is since 1992, I was micromanaging data for call centers. I was micromanaging it for insurance. I was looking for people, yeah, I can leverage from to make business work. So what I've done is I looked at the email addresses, I looked at postal codes, I looked at the areas, I looked at occupations. So I started to categorize my clients in A, B, C, and D. Where my eight clients is a 10%, I know it's golden to my business. I don't have to chase the C and D clients. So as soon as I finished with my A clients, I will then go in, or my prospects, I will then move into the B category. And then I'll move it into the C. But the D category was for special needs. And I might not be qualified for that special needs, and I might bring in a third party. Like, for instance, Vicky. And because she comes from the social background of working with people, I will work with Vicky and say, hey, Vicky, how can you help me with these particular people that needs a special needs? So that becomes a lead we can monetize on or leverage from, or which Vicky can work with. So when it comes to the law of attraction, by looking at the leads, is what do we want at the end of the day to make business work? Any questions on your side, Bill or Vicky or Dennis?
Not at this time.
May you
Yes,
rephrase the may you rephrase the question, please, Ron?
Is there anything that you would, any questions you want to say, or anything that you want to liaison of the questions I put forward to you, Dennis?
Yes, sir. Speaking on the law of attraction and you know, utilizing the law of attraction to gain new clients, I think that's a great way to go about marketing. You know, finding a niche and finding the crowd that, you know, has the same vibe as you, whether that is, you know, music, and attaching like beats and things like that to the poetry, and I could find a compilation in that form of fashion.
No, 100%, and that's what I say is, now I'm going to go a step further. What you just mentioned there, Dennis. Now you might find a person who you want to work with in the music business, but your poetry might not suit that type of musician. It might be heavy rock.
Mm-hmm.
It might be classical. It might be pop rock. It might be country. So depending, yeah, you now have to break down those clients into smaller bite-sized pieces to make your poetry work. And this
Yes,
works
sir.
in all businesses, because it brings me back to a doctor. I'm going to go to a normal general practitioner and I say to him, listen, I've got a headache.
Mm-hmm.
The general practitioner says, I think you need to go to a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
The specialist will look at me and says, listen, I think you're sitting too long in front of the computer. I think you need to go see a physio. The physio will then refer me to a chiropractor just to break my bones a little bit.
All right.
So, but if you start understanding, if you can go directly to the chiropractor, how much money are you going to save? Another example is, I'm going to go to an attorney. My friend is an attorney. I'm going to go through a divorce. You go there, he says, I'm not qualified in this field, but I will invoice you $500 by listening to you. My friend is an attorney. So sometimes we have to look for that specialist or that special person that you want to work with to make your business work, to understand that the client that you want to bring into your business, that you can leverage from.
Understood. So will it be like finding a specialist in a specific field for exponential growth?
100%. So if I'm going to work with you, Dennis, as an example, and I listen to your poetry, and it might be romantic poetry, I'm going to look at something with soft rock where it can play through, or it might be some form, a part of a jazz or a saxophone, or that type of person that can flow with that poetry that goes in with your poetry that goes with this music, where you can start leveraging from and say to the person, hang on, I don't like your tone. I think you need to lower your tone. So all of a sudden you start building a relationship with this particular musician to get your art out there. So now all of a sudden, now he plays in front of people. He might get the YouTube video. You're still going to get the royalties while working with the right client and make money while you sleep. But if you could, So if we're going to start focusing on the wrong clients,
Mhm.
what's going to happen? We're just going to chase clients, but not understand who we want to work with to make business work. A good example is when we work in the affiliated marketing field or the network marketing field or in the insurance business. And we have to bring in, or in the car sales business. If I find a good salesperson and I can treat him as a leader, he's going to bring business in for me. I don't have to tell him exactly what to do. But if I find how to work with the right person, I create leaders, and leaders build businesses. I just mentor and grow and coach. So while they're finding the leads, I'm enjoying my life while working with the right people I want to work with.
Yes, sir.
Vicky, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that's okay. I'm here more in observer mode, if that's okay.
No problem. You know, this is where, which is nice because, you know, we all work with different people, and there's nothing to do with if I'm an estate agent, doesn't matter if I'm an insurance, doesn't matter who we're going to work with. If we want to make business work and we want to get the right person in to grow our business, and as the saying goes, horses for courses. And how do we create that to make business work going forward? So, yeah, because one of the big things is when it comes to looking for the right client or for the right customer or for the right prospect, is we have to research that individual. Now, I want to put this forward to Bill, and I'm putting Bill on the spot. How would you research that type of person? Because, you know, you're working in the financial market as well as medical aid. How will you research that type of prospect, Bill?
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that today because, you know, the traction is anybody that's going to make some changes in their financial structures or in their personal health regimen, okay, must be open-minded to do so. So there's a couple of ways that I actually use that. One is the Facebook Lives, which is short. And my intention is to open up topics regarding mostly health. Maybe there's some financial questions there as well. People that want the information. I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I'm looking for people that are looking for answers that I might be able to help them with. Okay, so I just put it out there. That's educational, you know. I might even suggest someone else as far as answers. Like, I'll give you a good example. Mine's in the financial and health field. Both go together. Wouldn't you agree that wealth without health is not good? You can have a lot of money, but if you're on a walker, it's not going to do you a lot of good to be wealthy, okay? And it won't happen the other way either. You can be an Olympic athlete, but if you're broke, you're going to be doing a lot of staycations. And you're going to want to be able to enjoy your great health if you have no money. So health and wealth go together. Wouldn't you agree? So, but people want that kind of information of how to create more health and more wealth in their life. You can direct message me. So the attraction is, I might be able to mastermind with you to create more health and wealth with you, but direct message me if you are. If somebody might be able to give you the winning lottery ticket, but if you're not going to pay not willing to pay $1 for the ticket, it doesn't matter that I've got the winning ticket. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. It's still service. It's not selling. And the kind of people, and I was thinking about Dennis, the other people that Dennis might be able to mastermind with to create more for himself, but also serve them as other authors and publishers.
Yes.
So
I say other authors because other poets, if they publish something, and Dennis has never published anything, you can go to that publisher, that other poet, and say, you've got some poetry that actually you marketed. How did you do that? Who do you know? And in a mastermind, a very, very important question. Who do you know that I should know?
Understood.
That's a mastermind question. Who do you know that I should know? And that, because Dennis knows some people, hey, I know people in the financial or health field that you should meet, okay? And that's the mastermind. So that's an attraction marketing, because I didn't try to sell you anything. I'm not trying to create something for you. I'm looking to work together to create that third mind and create some results for both of us. So
I have an inquiring question for you, if you don't mind me interjecting. That's a great idea, to team up with different poets. And I actually know, how should I say, I know a few poets and everything. I was wondering, how can I work with other poets to mastermind how to generate 100% of income from publishing?
okay, now Dennis, that is a very interesting question, and that fits with everything as Bill said. The first thing I would do, and Bill, and Vicky's response also on this, is I will create a mastermind, bring them into NG, set up your own mastermind, and I would say a maximum of 8, but bring in one of the people like myself, Bill, Vicky, or one of the other people in, or Arlene, bring them into your mastermind as a third party does not know anything about poetry, but actually just listening, or that entrepreneur way of thinking to say, okay, this is the way I see it. This is a person I can maybe work with. That's a person I can monetize with. This is a person where my poetry will fit in. Because it comes back to the point I put forward to Bill is, how do you research your client? Now, your client could be anybody. It could be your customer. It could be a friend. It could be another poet. Because your poetry might not be good at the present moment, because it might have been the way you speak about it, talk about it, write about it, but might just be putting an I in front of a T or whatever. It is that the other person can see it. And by maybe changing that one word can bring at so much more leverage, or in the Noble Goldman principle, leverage, to work with each other. So your research has to take place on that specific person that you want to bring in. So before you're going to bring him in, even if it's a friend, you have to research that particular person. Is he doing it for love and charity? Is it his passion? What is his purpose? Is that a person I can work with by means of his skill set? Is he too analytical? Are we going to clash with personalities? I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but when it comes to bringing people to make your business work, don't just say yes. Rather sit on a one-on-one with them and say, this is what I see how things going to work. But I've got Ron, I've got Bill, I've got Vicky, part of our mastermind. Would you like to join us and see what we can leverage up between you and I to monetize together to generate 100% income with both of us?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I'm going to go back to Bill on what he spoke about the life assurance. If a person can be healthy and is broke, what's the point? You can have all the money and not be wealthy, can also be a problem. So who are you going to focus on if you want that type of person to bring into your business? So the first thing what we have to do is research that particular person. And yeah, are you going to research it? So the first thing I'm going to look at is, if he's a business person, I'm going to go into LinkedIn and I'm going to see his profile. I'm going to look at his profile picture. I'm going to look at what is his contactability. Has he got an email address? Who is his followers? Oh, he's a CEO of the company. He loves riding his bicycle on the promenade. He's a canoeist. He loves taking risks. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to learn more about this customer. Now, the reason why I mentioned this type of profile is because when I go and try to sell him a life assurance or a medical aid, that there's no loading because you've already identified the risk. So if there's a person that might be obese because he's rich and famous because he's got a health issue, he might complain about the loading of his policy. Or the person that's healthy can't afford the premiums, he might lapse a policy. So the work what we put in, we've lost. So if we can start researching our client that we want to work with, we can start understanding, hang on, we can leverage up by looking at that specific prospect to make business work. Because a lot of people say to me, hey, Ron, I've got 35,000 leads. I'll say, fantastic. When last did you speak to these people? I think it's about 12 years old. All of a sudden, we see 36,000 leads, but as soon as I put a year to it, what is it going to cost me to wash this data? What's it going to cost me to clean this data? How much time I'm going to look at to make business work? So sometimes getting information sounds great, but we have to research that specific customer. We need to look at that specific opportunity. Like for instance, I've moved into real estate. I haven't looked at any way customers or prospects to sell to. All I've done for 2 weeks is understanding the system, understanding the data, looking at that specific market. What is the income group I want to work with? How do I look if this person's got 2 to 3 or 4 different properties? How can I sell another property and tell him more about his property portfolio, how to leverage his property portfolio, to leverage up to get maybe 2 or 3 more properties, because I want to know my customer and speak the language of the customer, that he says, hey, I want to work with Ron. He knows what he's talking about. I never thought of it. And I want to use the same scenario I had on Sunday with a particular customer. She came to look at this 6-bedroom house. And she said, it's nice for my kids. but yeah, it's been built, I'm not interested in because there's too many defects. I think I need to keep my house and go up. I said to her, I think that's a great idea, but think of it. You're sitting with a small bond. You wanted to spend X. You've already got nearly R1 million. Let's call it, let's make it dollars as an example, that everybody knows it as an example. You can now leverage that dollars into as a deposit for the property, renting out the current place that you've got because you're sitting with a small bond. It's enough money that's going to cover your bond and having extra capital. So the new property you're purchasing is only going to cost you X. And you're now creating a legacy for your family. Says, I never thought of it that way. I says, you're sitting with 5 kids. All you need is another 3 properties. But if you leverage correctly, you can have a property for each kid. And now you've left a legacy, not just for your children, but for your grandchildren. Because now I'm thinking forward. But what made a difference? I took interest in the client's needs, not to sell them the property. I just showed them the roadmap. As Napoleon Hill says, plan your work and work your plan, and whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. So I created a certain skill set by using the Napoleon 13, the 13 habits, by applying it into the conversation, and she was so excited. And I just left it. I said to her, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. So those are things of how to work with people by understanding what their needs are. Anybody wants, any of you like to add something?
I'll add something. I think it's very detrimental to know the customer, as you were saying, and suggest new things, that can actually help the customer. Leveraging, did you say debt?
Yeah.
Leveraging debt, to purchase another house, I think was ingenious. With that being said, speaking, staying up on the goal, I think it's very important to how should I say, have empathy for the customer. The household for customers can be their whole life wrapped up in a house. So I do understand the seriousness of that.
No, 100%. And it's all got to do is, how do you connect with your customer? Okay, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's got to do with your customer. It's the customers buy from you. He needs to feel comfortable. You've got, and I say, if you want to find a customer, it's like scrolling down in Facebook. Because if you scroll down in Facebook, how long does it take you to look at a post? Or do you look at all the posts in Facebook?
In a millisecond, subconscious.
Subconscious. So that millisecond, that's all you need to get your client's attention. So if you know how to look at that client's attention, and you can break the ice in that millisecond, you can leverage from what he wants. But if you're going to start working with the customer, you've already working with him, and all of a sudden you can see he's losing interest. What do? You change the subject.
Redirect his attention. That's right.
You redirect, it says, wow, I forgot to mention to you how awesome the view is from your garden. Well, it's not my house yet, but just imagine it is. All of a sudden, by changing the mindset, by telling the view and create that visualization back into his idea, you've created that law of attraction by working with that customer. It's the same as you're going to work with a musician. It's how you're going to put if he's going off a tantrum about his music, how do you bring it back? It says, you know, that tune you just played, I think it will fit nicely in this section of my poetry. Don't you want to play it and see how it works? All of a sudden you create that linkage to it, because you have to look at the customer. You have to connect with that customer in such a way that he always eats out of your hands, but he's always right. All you have to do is divert the question to what you want for him to believe that he still thinks he's right. Now, I'm going to use another angle on this. Am I frozen there, Bill? Hello?
Oh, there he is.
There he
You
is.
froze there, Ron.
Yep. So, as I say, is working with a particular customer, he's always right. So when I was working with this particular customer, she says, yeah, but what about the roofing here? What about the roofing there? I says, you know what? I fully support you, but if you change the wall a little bit, you can have more space by overcoming that problem. So I agreed, but I created a vision by just changing a wall. Oh, it makes sense now. So now I created that picture that she always wanted, because she creates that visualization of what she wants. And it doesn't matter in what business you're in. It's how you create that visualization by applying the law of attraction. And through this, you're going to win that customer at the end of the day. A lot of people will say, no, I'm not interested. I'm running with another agent, or yes, I'm tired of network marketing. It's a pyramid scheme, or yes, I'm tired of this company and they stole my money. All you have to do is change their mindset. And the way I'd say, let's call it as it is. I mean, let's say, for instance, I'm in the crypto space. And the person says, I'm not interested in crypto. It's a scam. I says, fantastic. I fully agree. But who did you work with? What was the reason for it? Can you tell me more about what you've gone through that I don't go through the same trap? Maybe you can assist me. So I'm putting the questions onto them to tell me, because I'm now the one that's standing back. And when they tell me this, what they invest in, I'll go back and say, you know what? Luckily, I was thinking of going into that product, but I've actually moved into this product. Do you mind if I show you my wallet and what I've accomplished in the last 2 years? Would you mind and giving your opinion? I don't say my opinion. Can I get your opinion and to see what can I do differently, seeing that you're an expert in this business? So I create that way of speaking to the person that he feels important. So those are things that helps you to grow your business, finding the leads and monetize from that at the same time, because your customers always feel important. He's always right. But it's how you correct it in a right way to make it work. I mean, I've tried it, it never works. I says, well, you're 100% correct. I've tried it as well. But yeah, since I've been listening to Simon Sinek about the why, I started to understand what my why is. You must actually listen to his book, because the how tells me how disciplined I must be, and the what means I must be consistent. And the biggest problem is we might be disciplined, but might not be consistent, because we always want it now. And since I've been consistent and it took 6 months, this is what I achieved. I mean, what's $50 or what is $100? I mean, it might be 3 or 4 meals from McDonald's, but I mean, at least now I can buy 1,000 meals from McDonald's. Would you like that? I mean, I'm just using that as an example. But those are things that we always have to think 2 steps ahead, because we need to understand your customer, because that's where the problem comes in. We don't understand your customer because we never researched the customer. You know, and if we can start researching the customer, and we can start applying the rules of the law of attraction, we can start working with that particular customer, because we build that confidence, we build that relationship and growing. I mean, I just take, for instance, I mean, well, Vicky, I mean, Dennis, I know for now about 3 months, but how long have we known each other? And we're starting to trust each other. I mean, Bill tells me I'll speak funny, so that's also okay. Abel?
Yep.
And,
You talk funny. We look alike, but you talk funny.
But as I say, it's how we leverage from each other. And, you know, Vicky, you and I, we've been speaking, and how we can help other people grow and stuff like it. And we built it just using Zoom. I mean, we just, and through this is what COVID has done, has made the world come closer to each other. And we can work with each other and grow forward with each other, and leveraging from each other's teammates, grow with each other, because we're sharing information. And we know with the community we're involved with, we don't have to prospect each other's customers, because we just follow the golden rule. And this is what I love about our community. And this is how the law of attraction of finding clients makes business work. Is there anything you'd like to add, Bill? Am I frozen again?
No, I think Bill was frozen and we just lost him.
Okay.
He'll come back.
Would you like to add something, Vicky?
Just when I think of, so Dennis doesn't really know a lot about me. So Dennis, my background is social work, actually. And
Yes,
I'm actually also an author, although my topic, I do write poetry. I haven't written in a while. My books are more about loss and grief and death and dying and bereavement. So the one thing I would add for you is, for publishing, something you may want to think about is self-publishing, where you do it yourself, you create your own, and you put it out there. You can put it out as print on demand. You can make an ebook out of it. You can even choose to do audio, where there are services where you choose who would read your poetry, and then people have that as an option for an audiobook.
Yes.
I love what Ron was saying about adding music. I think that's great to add music to it. When I think of law of attraction, really, it's who you're being is who you attract. That's what I think of. And Ron can correct me if I'm not stating that, but who we are is typically who we attract to us. Where we're sitting at our level is who we attract to us as clients, people we want to mastermind with, engage with. And yeah, a lot of it does come down to trust. In this setting, I have to say, it's, I've known Ron, I don't know, over about a year now, I think. or we've connected on various masterminds. And it's amazing when you think of how far, and we're all in different countries, right? I'm in Canada. You know, Ron's in South, no, where are
South
you now?
Africa.
You're still South, okay, you're still in South Africa. And Dennis, where are you?
I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so that'll be Midwest.
Yep, okay. But here we are, we're all connecting in this setting, Zoom. That's the thing I love about the technology. And I think we're really blessed when you think about it with everything going on. We still have this space to interact and talk and put ideas around each other. So the only thing I would say is I think just be you, be genuine, be authentic. Don't try to change who you are to attract somebody to you. Just be yourself, and that's the people that will come to you. If you try to be different and try to act differently because you think you're going to get somebody to come to you that way, it doesn't work.
You know, that was great advice, Miss Vicky. You know, it's deep. Like the old me was more so a negative minded individual. You know, the old me was the type of person, how should I say, that, you know, wasn't an upstanding citizen, in short, you know. So I realize it's the words a person utilizes that places them in the bracket in life that they are. So the doctors say pass the scalpel or pass the stethoscope, or assistant, can you do this? And the mechanic says pass the wrench, pass the four-way, pass the ratchet or whatnot like that. And that places him as a mechanic, and so forth for engineers and things of that nature. So I realized I had to change one thing about me, and that was everything, you know. Now, with that being said, you know, I'm still me. At the same time, instead of utilizing Ebonics, I realized that my message, whatever message I was conveying at the time, would only be reached to a certain member of people, you know, and the universal language is proper English, you know. So with that being said, I'm practicing this new me, you know, with being genuine, trying to be anyway, you know, well, not trying to be, just being me, without the false ego, the false pride, you know, the falsehood of having myself all together in a negative way, you know. So, you know, I greatly appreciate the advice and the suggestion of being genuine. That's my aim.
Yeah, 100%, Dennis. And, you know, it's what you just said there and what Vicky said there is what we need to understand is as we research customers, so does a customer researches us. Okay. So we need to make sure if people want to research us, we need to be out there to give them as much as they want. So what do we create using different social media platforms? By also being true to ourselves. You know, so by working with people like Arlene, I mean, who's a celebrity in New York of having her own station. Hello, Arlene. So so I'm saying is because we work, everybody is unique in their own way. But it's how the customer is going to look at us and how they're going to leverage us to make their business work. And the point I'm putting across here is my other business where I help people to become debt free, how to get them from the credit bureaus. I put stuff forward and tell them how to do it. So even though I give a lot of intelligence out in social media, people are lazy to do it themselves. So they now investigating me, they're looking at my profile and they're phoning me instead of me phoning them. Because I give them the information. I tell them which sections of the act to use. I tell him where to go and find the problem, or how to get the solution, how to overcome all of this. So those are things that we need to do to create a customer, so that you can have customers following you. Doesn't matter if you're a poet, doesn't matter if you're a social worker or a TV presenter. You want to give enough content out there for people to make a decision. So, if you look at Grant Cardone, he's one of my favorite mentors, Eric Worre. We also say Pat Quinn, Fraser Brooks. I've got them all. I comment on their chats, and once a month or once every 2 months, I'll put a funny in there. They will comment on my quotes. Today I had one from Eric Worre. He says, "You made me laugh due to the quote you put forward when I put in Instagram." So, at the same time, because Eric came onto my quote, he liked it. I got other people liking it as well because he gave me a like. You see, it's the same as Grant Cardone with his property. I'll put a quote forward and says, "I'd love to be part of it, but I'm in South Africa." One of these people working for him reached out to me, and I was on a Zoom call with him last night, my time. I'm doing another call. So through this, I'm building up relationships, but I'm sitting in South Africa. But it's how we leverage our time that the customers can reach out to you, because they're going to search you. So if how many people have you seen on America's Got Talent who's in their late 60s and only coming forward now, and they're brilliant and they monetize now because they were too scared when they were young because of fear? I'll say life is reversed, it's confused. Because when we were teens, I'll call up to the age of 16, we will watch all of these movies or cartoon characters. We'll jump out the tree and we'll think we're Tarzan, we're Superman. And the older we get, the fear sets in. But as soon as you go over the age of 65, you want to go do bungee jumping. You want to do skydiving. You want to go helicopter flipping. You want to go do shark diving. Because your time is limited. But what do you do between the youth and the age? Why are we so worried about the fear, what people's going to think? As you rightly said, Dennis, is how do we be true to ourselves? Same as Vicky. We cannot worry about fear. And I'm going to tell you my story. And it's relevant to the law of attraction. Is when I went for my colon operation, when they found cancer in my colon, they removed 450 mils of my colon. And I could go into a depression state. But what I've done is I used my disability to show people you can overcome it. It's the same, I've done Toastmasters. In my first meeting I went to, I thought I was speaking brilliantly, not realizing I'm still dyslexic and ADD. And when I was listening to my first speech, I didn't realize I stuttered so much. Okay. But after my 5th or 7th Toastmasters, I said, guys, this is me. I'm dyslexic, I'm ADD, you know, you can laugh at me, I laugh at myself. And what was quite interesting by saying that, out of the 20 people, 7 people approached me and says, I was too scared to come forward. How can you help my son? How can you help my husband? He's sitting with the same problem. He's brilliant with his hands, but when it comes to putting assignments together, when he has to put quotes together, how do you overcome that? Because we're all not perfect. But just be true to yourself, because by doing that, the people that's researching you is going to leverage your time, your way of working, and you're going to pick up that 1%. As I said, I'm not interested or let me rephrase. People can say whatever they want. I mean, they can look at my live stream and say, hey, Ron, you talk a whole lot of crap. I mean, I don't give a damn. I'm interested in that 1% of the 7 billion people. Or let me rephrase, 0.0000001%. If I can focus on that, I can still become a millionaire. I don't have to focus on 10%. I just have to focus on 0.001%. Because those are the people I'm interested in, who's attracting to me and who I'm attracted to and who I want to leverage with to make business work. Okay, Olinda just lost. Let me bring her in again. So, Bill, anything that you would like to add? I think Bill is frozen again. Oline.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to add something in your conversation?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to hear all of it. I got kicked off, but I understand that you were talking about your story and how you were able to share your message and be authentic. And I think that Dennis moving forward in his authenticity is just amazing. I mean, that's what it's about, being authentic, coming forward, sharing where you feel like you have shortcomings and you want to manifest and do better. Everybody who has achieved greatness has started at, wherever they started from. Nobody pops out the womb as amazing and brilliant and fantabulous. It's a process. And the exciting thing is that those who want to move forward, step one is to acknowledge where I am now, so that I can know from here, this is where I am now, let's be clear, and then this is where I would like to be, as opposed to walking in the cloud and just posturing, oh, I'm amazing, I'm da-da-da-da, knowing full well that it's going to be much more challenging to travel that journey and travel that road if we don't have a clear idea of where we want to go and where we are now. So they say when a flight goes from New York to California, it's off track much of the time. It's not a straight line because of the clouds and because of weather and, varying situations, but there's a flight plan. So even though the airplane goes off track, it still comes back and it's still veering in a particular direction. So that's how I see my life and my journey. At different stages, I have had different goals and things that I wanted to acquire. But the secret, I think, in achieving them has been to be clear, have clarity in terms of where I am now, and clarity as to what it is that I want to achieve. And there are several stories, several situations where I've set goals and I've said, okay, I'm going to achieve X, Y, Z. And people have said, oh, well, that's an unrealistic goal for you to achieve. For example, I set a goal and I said I wanted to meet, many of you who follow my show and my stuff, I wanted to meet the president. We had a president that looks like us, one of the first in history or in my time that I've known of. So of course I wanted to meet him. And somebody said, oh, well, that's a vision of grandeur because, regular people don't interact with presidents. But guess what? I've interacted with that president several times. I've met him several times. So it's just a matter of being clear And if you're willing to spend enough time at it and not give up, eventually you will achieve the goal. I think the key piece is that dash in between, you know, in terms of the amount of time that we're willing to spend on it. But as long as we're clear and we set the goal and we're willing to spend the time, put in the work, we can achieve it no matter what it is. Thank you.
Aline, you're 100% correct, because our topic, it fits nicely, because your topic is how do you find the client, how do you find clients by applying the law of attraction? And but what you just done there, and that's why I put you on the spot, and I just loved it, because you wanted to meet the president, President Obama. Okay, you had a clear vision where you wanted to go with your business. So you was indirectly a client that you want to leverage from, but you thought bigger. And sometimes,
I was my own client.
I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
But, and the reason why I'm mentioning it, because you mentioning, I met with Obama because you then start working in his campaign. By applying that campaign, you're starting to work with other people because you're leveraging through the different skill sets at the same time. Because that's how I start building up your client base. And you're leveraging with the clients that you're working with and building up different ways and means of creating your database that you want to work with. It might not sit in your process, what I'm saying. I'm just using that as an example. I mean, I'm just going to go back to some of my clients. I mean, teachers, which I looked after in 92 when I was in the insurance business. I mean, the one friend of mine, he became the president of athletics in South Africa. Now, last week when I spoke to him, by just keeping in contact, saying to him, how are you doing? He's now the general secretary of SADC, of the South African, of all the different countries, by bringing countries together. So it's how do you leverage your people, being nice to the people? Because as we research other people, so they research us. And this is how we work together to make business work. So, Bill, have you got anything to add? Because we're on the hour.
Yeah, I'd like to add something. My internet's having trouble today. Keep getting knocked off. And that is just a small thing in the world, right? Don't get upset about it. It's the internet's, and you know, I think I must have adopted your problems that you used to have, Ron. So,
sorry, Bill, can I just cut you short there? Do you know what I've done?
What?
I applied the law of attraction to the person who installed it.
Exactly. That's good. You know, see, I used to get, I would get.
Bill, you're frozen. Vicky, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I think Bill is
I think it's
frozen.
Bill.
But anyway, would you
And
like
I'm
to
here too, so I think it is Bill.
Okay. Vicky, would you like to add something before we close?
No, I just want to say hi, Arlene. Very lovely to see you. And
Hello.
thank you, Ron, for today. And I just want to, as usual, I just want to say thank you and wish everybody a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Vicky. Coach Arlene, would you like to add something before we go?
Law of attraction works if we work it. It's just a matter of implementing the tools and tips and techniques so that we can manifest it. Many times people set a goal and they say, oh, I want XYZ, or I want to achieve XYZ, and then we don't see it. But there are so many steps and tools that we need to do in ourselves to prepare ourselves so that we can attract the thing that we want to attract. So unfortunately, I didn't hear all of what was said before, but it's an inside game. And so many people are like fighting and wrestling and trying to, or not trying, because I don't like that word, endeavoring to make it happen, to force it. Start with ourselves. Get up in the morning when you're supposed to. Read the materials that we know we're supposed to. Put the kinds of things in our mind that we know we're supposed to, and become the person that we think would be able to achieve that particular goal that we're looking to achieve.
Thanks, Aline. And Dennis, what would you like to add?
As I would like to say, how you doing, Miss Coach Eileen McLaren?
Hi, Dennis.
All right now. As for the law of attraction, you know, I believe utilizing the law of attraction to attract clients is a passionate way of marketing. You know, it won't even feel like business. It'll feel like regular interaction.
Fantastic. So guys, I just want to finish off and say, number one, understand your customer's traits. Number two, look what the requirements of your customer. Don't try to sell him something that he doesn't need. Research your customer, and your customer has to research you. Put it open there for your customer. That just be open. So when you work with a customer, or the customer wants to know more about you, even it's a couple of freebies, I mean, let them just go in there, because people like to work with people if they get something for free. Maybe just the material of your one poet, what you've written, and says, if you want to know more, why don't you download one of my poetry, or an album, or whatever you want to do. You know, give him something to work with. And with this, you're going to start getting customers. And this is how the word and mouth going forward, because it's not about the customer, it's who does a customer know to tell you the service that you provided, that they can start phoning you to come into your business, to make business work. So as it says, if you can give your time, you're going to receive a lot. So on that note, if I don't see you through the week, I'm going to see you through the window. Have an awesome time.
I'm supposed